All right, we're back, ladies and gentlemen. George Kavassilas, our dear friend, he's been a guest on the show many, many times before. He always takes us out to the esoteric and occult and super woo. I love that term. He coined that term, and I've used that term many, many times before. And now we can really get into it. Our Universal Journey was the first one. And the second one, I don't remember off the top of my head. I'm going to have to ask George. George, what was the name of the second book?
Oh,
or the
I'm
first
still
book.
writing it.
First book, actually. I'm sorry.
The first book is Our Universal Journey, and the second one I'm in the process of writing. It's a course, actually, that I'm writing. It's a follow-on from the book, which helps people. It gives them the tools to put into practice the knowledge and information and wisdom that is contained in the book.
Ah, very nice. Okay, maybe I got confused because you're writing the second book. The first one was Our Universal Journey. Okay, excellent.
Yeah, I mean, you speak to so many people, Chris, and it's totally understandable, mate.
I know we're doing three shows a week now, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. It's a lot to handle for sure. We need a vacation, a nice long vacation. You want to tell us a little bit about yours?
Well, first of all, Chris and Sheree, thank you very much for having me back on. I really appreciate it. It's just great to be here.
Thank you for joining us.
Love
definitely.
being on your show. Love the Truth Frequency family.
We love having
you. We just went on a trip because we wanted to honour the ending of the cycle. So for us, it was the ending of the cycle, from our perspective on life. And we followed the calling of our heart, and Mother Earth spoke to us, and we felt the need to be in a particular location on her planetary body for the ending of the cycle. It was amazing because there was people that came from other parts of the world, from Canada and England and Australia, from New Zealand. It was just lovely. And we gathered in a location, and we ended up in the UK, actually, to be there in a particular location, a particular stone circle that called us for the ending of the cycle. And we had really profound experiences. And for us, we decided to make the time, to make the space in our lives to honour that. For a lot of people, they're quite busy with their lives and were more caught up in more of the matrix energies and weren't quite hearing the biorhythms of Mother Earth. This is what I've come to know, is it's really important for us to have our own, honour our relationship with Mother Earth and the biorhythms of her beingness, and also the biorhythms of our relationship with her. And that's how we synchronise and harmonise ourselves with the natural cycles and the natural order in the universe.
Wow, very well said, and definitely a lot to take in. I do have to ask you about this because we were bombarded with emails when people heard that we were having you on, and they want to know what happened with the March 20th date.
Well, for me, it was a turning point. At least 12 months ago, I retracted on my understanding of the way the events would play out at this time. And I was mentioning that throughout 2012 in interviews. I probably didn't do it enough by the look of it because of the way some people reacted. And that's, on one level understandable, but also on another level, it's people really got to take responsibility for what they choose to accept. And, we also always will say, and I will always say, and always have from the beginning, to make sure that you just don't take my word for granted, for gospel, that, you seek and search within yourself, within your own heart, that what everybody is sharing with you resonates with your own heart. And don't invest yourself or give your power away to anyone or anything, including myself. I'm not interested in anybody's power. I'm only interested in empowering myself and my work,
George,
ethos.
You are George Kavassilas, the second coming. You are the Son of God.
We just brought him on, sweetie.
No. I'm saying that because
I get where he's coming from.
That's how people look at us. And it's like, then they realize that we're just human and go, oh, wait a minute, you're not real. Well, we're just human. We never claim to be anything. It's what you put in your mind and you project it onto us. And that's why you're disappointed.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's exactly right. You nailed it there, Chris. It's what other people are projecting onto us. And, it's kind of like a parallel thing took place throughout 2012 with my work. There was a large group of people who were listening to what I was saying, and then there was a large group of people who were holding on to the old things that I'd said, but for some reason were not listening to anything I said throughout 2012. At the end of it, around the solstice, there was this huge backlash, but, there's many reasons why that happened. Not just for me personally, it happened across the board on the planet to anyone who had anything to say about December 21, 2012. And the irony of the whole thing is there has been a shift. For me, the biggest shift was the equinox and not the solstice. For me, the ending of the cycle just occurred at the equinox. And it was really fascinating how the powers that still think they're in control of the planet took total advantage of the ending of the cycle, because the build up to December 21, 2012 just gutted everybody, because nothing apparently happened in the public arena. It was all happening. It was all on for young and old, for ancient, for new, behind the scenes, behind the curtain, behind the veil. It was full on busy behind the scenes.
Oh, yeah.
But because nothing happened in the public arena, everybody thinks nothing actually happened and it was all false, you see. And that totally gutted people, and that broke their will. And after that, nobody wanted to know about anything, which was great for the powers that are manipulating humanity, because now they had no opposition energetically, and they had full access to the energies of the ending of the cycle. And a classic example of that was the appointing of the new Pope. Think about all the rituals and everything that was taken place. And if this Pope is the last Pope, if he is Peter the Roman, according to prophecy, biblical prophecy, then you had a whole plethora of rituals taking place with maximum access to these energies of the ending of the cycle, because nobody else was actually interested in doing anything, because they were so disillusioned from the solstice scenario.
Right.
See, it's a very, very clever program. And we decided not to buy into all the crap. We decided to honor our hearts, our relationship with our mother planet, listen to the biorhythms, listen to the calling, and actually go where we needed to be on her body. And for us, it was incredible. The ending of, the one message that we got collectively, that everybody who was there got collectively, is it is now the ending of the time of sacrifice. The idea, the concept, and the notion of sacrifice for the human race has now finished. And not only for the human race, but also of the divine feminine. Mother Earth and her sacrifice for humanity has now come to an end. She no longer needs to be, the feminine and woman no longer needs to carry the archetype of sacrifice. And neither does the masculine. But understanding the role that the divine feminine is playing, who's manifested herself as this planet, who is facilitating this whole entire experience for this organism we call humanity. It's incredible. And that is a very, very big message that I wanted to share. And I know there's people out there that know this for themselves, but there are those who aren't aware of what's going on. And we need to understand that the end of sacrifice, we need to end sacrifice. There's no need for that anymore. That program, all contracts, all agreements for that idea and that concept have now been honoured. It's over. It's now our turn, and we are worthy, and we've earned it, and we have the right to have an abundance of all the good things in life. The time of sacrifice has ended.
I'm right there. Go ahead.
Well, I'm really glad you said that the contract has been fulfilled. It's over. I mean, in the words of Christ himself, it is finished. After the sacrifice, though, comes the resurrection. Do you think the resurrection of the divine feminine is what is in store?
Yeah, absolutely. It is absolutely in store, and for the masculine as well, because the masculine has lost its way. So for both, it's about a unification, reunion, unification, divide sacred union, and it's about resurrection. That's how it comes about balance, about integration.
I'm right there with you. Something happened though in 2013, and it's not just me. It's a lot of people that are experiencing this. You talked about embracing the darkness, and so we did. And it seems like the darkness is just overwhelming now. It seems like everybody's kind of focused from the consciousness to the five sense reality, what's going on in the world, the false flags, the political system. Is that a trap, or is that exactly where we need to be?
Yeah, well, you see, there's those of us who have embraced our own darkness, our individual darkness within us, but unfortunately the majority of the world's population still live in denial of it. So while we're doing our bit, the rest are not doing their bit. And it's not about being better than anybody else. It's just about understanding that we have consciously been doing the work for a long time in this area. And there's a lot of self-righteous ideologies out there and spiritual concepts and religious ideology with an incredibly self-righteous attitude that darkness has to be denied and has to be attacked and downtrodden, and it's not about that, because that's division. And every time you deny your own darkness within you, you will always remain in this internally divided state. So what we need to do is embrace all of life, no matter what it is, no matter what the expression, and embrace it and reintegrate it and rebalance ourselves, rebalance life. And so humanity as a whole, what needs to be played out is, I personally have already gone through working through the energies within me of the synthetic dark and the synthetic light, energies from the synthetic universe and the God entity that created it. So I've already been working through those energies for a long time, and my book's all about that. And helps people to understand by revealing the structure and who's behind what. So what we got now playing out in front of us is humanity as a whole needs to work through those energies. The human organism, if you look at it as one entity and the relationship it's having with its mother planet and this journey that it's been on together, hurtling through space together, now humanity needs to work through this energy because it chose to experience it. Everybody who's a part of the human race chose, on one level of their beingness, made an agreement that they were going to experience the synthetic universe. And when I talk about the synthetic universe, I don't mean Mother Earth herself and the natural environment. What I'm talking about is the mind manipulation, the spiritual concepts, the technologies.
Being born
These are all aspects of the synthetic universe.
What you're talking about is being born in our modern society with our cars and our cell phones and all of the technology that's swirling around our heads every day.
Yes, but also the mental and spiritual concepts that we give our power over to these deities. We give our power to something outside of us. This is all part of the synthetic universal construct. And what we need to do now as a humanity is we need to work through the synthetic dark energy and the synthetic light. And, what we have playing out right now on the planet is the synthetic dark. And what's to follow, what comes in behind it, is the synthetic light. And the synthetic dark, the expressions of that are religious dogma. Because actually we'll take a step back. If I can explain the characteristics of the two, then people will be able to see around them at the expressions on our planet which embody and emanate these characteristics. And this is what it helps people to identify with our world and what's going on with it. So you've got this is a really, really important thing to understand. You've got the organic light and the organic dark. You've got two expressions of the universal creator. Now, the overall positive expression of the universal creator, you could say, is the higher realms within the universe. The overall negative expressions of the universal creator, you could say, are the overall lower realms of the universe. Now, I haven't gotten to the synthetic part yet. Stay with me. I'm still with the organic expressions of the universal creator itself. So you've got what I call the great arena. That's a label I use. It's also known as the universal matrix. Now, we're still talking organic universal matrix. We're still talking universal creator. Okay, so that is known as the great serpent. That is the consciousness of the aspect of the universal creator and the consciousness which manifests the universal matrix, the organic one, and the great arena into being is also what we call Quetzalcoatl. It's what we call the rainbow serpent in Australian Aboriginal law. It's known as the Great Serpent. It is not the same as the serpent of the religious ideology, the serpent in the tree known as the serpent of Christian religion. That is a different flavour of energy. And I'll explain where that fits in a moment. So what we have now is we have the great arena. We have the universal matrix, the organic one, the one that is a true expression of the universal creator who's facilitating challenges for you. And what the organic dark is, because this is the conflict people have within them. We find it hard to reconcile the conflict of our understanding of the dark, because on one hand there's a aspect of the dark that we know is honourable, if you can imagine that, honourable. And then there's another part of the dark which is masochistic and sadistic and manipulative, and the two, it's conflict. The two don't match. So what's going on here? So when we come to realise that there's two expressions of dark energy taking place in the universe, so you have the organic and the honourable dark energy, which provides challenges for beings in this universe in its own way. And that's like, let me give you an example of here. The honourable dark would say, you've got a mountain to climb. Here is a mountain. It's going to hurt. It's going to be hard. But here it is. And it'll always be upfront and honest with you and provide the challenges in life. And you go and you climb that mountain and you do hurt and you do get tired and you go through a lot of pain and you process a lot of challenges within your being while you're doing it. And you get to the top and it's exhilarating because you've achieved it. And then you go back to the honourable dark and go, right, that was a fantastic experience. Where can I incarnate next? Oh, I want to go into that reality. And yes, I want to have that challenge. And this is what it's going to be like. So yes, let's go and do that. So everything is open, upfront and honest. That is the honourable dark. That's the organic dark. That is the dark of the universal creator itself. Now, what we have in the universal matrix, because within that realm we also have a positive and a negative charge within that realm as well, we have on the negative side only of the great arena, we have the energy that facilitates the synthetic universe. So you have a being that's actually manifested the synthetic universe or created a universal structure within the negative charge of the universal matrix. Now, within that synthetic universe, you have a positive and a negative charge because it's tried to replicate light or replicate waveform or vibration. In other words, the construct of the universe. That's why it's the synthetic universe.
You know what? Let's just skip this break. Please continue.
Yep.
Yeah. So, let's skip it.
Okay. And so what we have within the synthetic universe, you have within itself a positive and a negative charge. And the negative charge within that universe is the snake of the Bible. That is the traditionally what we've come to know as the satanic sort of energy, which is masochistic, sadistic, manipulative, debaucherous. That's that energy, because you have a being that's trying to be God. You have a being that, and I know this falls into alignment with some of the religious ideology, but please hear me out, because I'm not propagating religious dogma. This is understanding the structure of things, because one thing I can assure you in life is, for me, and I live by this statement, that the God of religions is the God of the synthetic matrix. So hear me out, because you've got not only the synthetic light, but you've also got the synthetic dark, but you've also got the synthetic light. So what's happened is this being, in its attempt to replicate the universe, has taken the organic dark, which I said provides challenges and is honourable and upfront and honest with you. It always will be. And then has turned it into something, like I said, masochistic, debaucherous, sadistic in nature and manipulative in nature and deceptive in nature. But it's also taken the light, the organic light, and it's turned it into something self-righteous and something authoritarian in nature. It's a different kind of energy. And when you can look at our world and you look at how these energies are being implemented in our world, you can see that we've got this really awful religious dogmatic energy happening, which exemplifies these energies. It emanates these energies. So what we have now is, and this is really big stuff I'm about to share, we have got this Jesuit order, a branch of the Jesuit order, who is aligned with the synthetic light energies, okay? And it's a big call, because I'm really having a go here. But it's a big call and it needs to be made. We have a secret branch of the Jesuit order which is running the Disclosure Project. Now what they're going to do is they're going to have the Vatican as a sacrificial lamb, because they have to fulfill prophecy. So Rome must fall, and that means the fall of the Roman Empire is the fall of the religious dogmatic structure and also the corporate infrastructure, which the religious dogmatic infrastructure has been creating and controlling. It's the tool that it's been using to control humanity. So the corporate infrastructure is actually run by the religious dogmatic structure. And once we can see that this whole disclosure project is being totally run by these groups, is because they want to make it look like the Vatican and the traditional dogmatic religions as we know it are the sacrificial lambs that are going to be befallen, because what's coming in behind this negative dark energy of religious dogma as we know it is the synthetic light energy. And that will be the spiritual ideologies of the New Age that want to come in and usher in this love, light, and freedom. It's going to be all about these qualities. They're going to be marketing it like crazy. And this is what I see that's happening. And that's what's coming for us all, because we need to work through the synthetic dark, and then what's coming in behind it is synthetic light, and we need to work through that too as a humanity. So that's why the universe is now presenting to the human race these two energies. And once we can get past these next two layers or these next two phases of what's about to happen on the planet, that's when we get to the good stuff. And that's when we go within our own hearts and we become sovereign and autonomous and we move beyond these frequencies.
I just want to be clear. You're talking about the Disclosure Project as in Stephen Greer's Disclosure Project.
There's a number of groups out there who are involved in disclosure right now. Disclosure to me is a ridiculous idea because we've always been with extraterrestrials. The ETs have never not been a part of this reality. They've always been here. They walk and live amongst us. They control our militaries, our spiritual ideologies, our royal lineages, royal families who think they have this divine right to rule.
Right, and they always demand blood. From the very beginning, they always demand sacrifice and blood of your children. From the very get-go.
There is no bloodline that is better than anybody else. We'll get into that later as well. So I've got a lot to say today. But it's when we can really look at how humanity needs to work through this synthetic dark and this synthetic light energy from the synthetic universe, which is by this God entity who's claiming to be the creator and ruler of all that is and all that exists on all levels of life, then we begin to realize the egoic insanity of that entity, because there is no such thing. There is no one being who is the creator of all. It's not real. We are infinite, which means there's no beginning and there's no end. There's no one anything. It's all open-ended. That's reality.
I'm right there with you. And I agree with you that disclosure is a silly idea because, as you said, we have been manipulated by extraterrestrials from the very beginning. And as far as one figure that created everything, I think we are part of that one figure. It's one energetic force, but we're all individual parts of it.
Exactly. But we still think in finite terms. There is no one anything. We're infinite. There's no beginning and there's no end. And is there a creator of this universe? Sure, there is a creator of this universe. That is a finite existence and a finite understanding. And when you reconnect with the real creator of this universe, it'll be the first being that'll share with you that you exist beyond it does as this universe. So do you exist beyond light, or is that all you are?
Right.
Of course you exist beyond light. You exist beyond everything because I'm infinite. I exist beyond everything. There is no limits to my beingness. And once we can understand whether one sees oneself as being finite or infinite, that's the question. That's the question that blows this whole thing wide open. If you are finite, then that's your belief system that some being has created you. And then from that moment on, you could see yourself as eternal, but you're still in the God program.
Right.
You're still in the synthetic universe. Once you break free from the synthetic universe, then you begin to see very clearly that there is one being that's claiming to be the creator of everything, and that's egoic insanity. Yes, beyond that, there is a creator of this universe, and beyond that is our infinite nature.
Very well said. I completely agree with you. I don't think that too many people question the idea of whether we're finite or infinite. I think what it is, though, is that it's kind of a trap that's been set up to keep the souls just constantly recycled through this synthetic universe, through the holographic universe. And I've always thought that if you die and you have this figure that comes before you and he says, "Oh, I'm Jesus, come with me, come with me," I believe that that is a trap. And that if you go in that direction, then you're just getting sucked right back into it and just getting recycled all over again. And I think I think the purpose is, or the goal is, to be able to look away from that and say, no, I'm not going towards the light. I'm going back this way, even though it appears to be dark, but I know that this way is where I have control over where I go.
Exactly. It's about being sovereign and autonomous.
Right.
And either people can choose to not be sovereign and autonomous. They can try and maybe... A lot of people are choosing to, and I did this in the past too, that's why I identify with it. There was times when I was thinking I was being sovereign and autonomous. So I was continuing to hold as an intellectual concept, and I was seeing myself through my ego as though I was autonomous or sovereign. And then one day it transferred from the head into the heart, and then I started being autonomous and sovereign. Okay, so that is the trick. We've got to transfer it from the intellectual, and we've got to start being it. And when you start being it, that's when you really change. When your life changes and everything around you changes, and that's why people don't want to go there, because everything's going to change.
Right.
And we've got to stop allowing the fear of change to be our walls, those walls that imprison us, because that's what keeps you trapped. So have the courage to step out and be genuine and authentic and live from the heart and live and be free and sovereign and autonomous. That's what it means. And then you go back to this incredible mergence with the universal creator and the infinite nature of life. And you just see so clearly this God entity whose egoic insanity is so out of control. It's amazing. And it's providing a wonderful service for us in this universe. That's why it exists. That's why the universal creator wants a synthetic universe within itself, because it provides these incredible challenges and experiences for us. So this other entity that's created the synthetic universe is serving us greatly. And I'm really grateful for it. Don't get me wrong. This is all about love and gratitude. Am I passionate in my expression? Absolutely, because I have a passion for the love that I have for my humanity and the freedom for my human family and the sovereignty that I want to see, that I know is possible for my human family. And I speak with passion. Of course I do. But at the end of it all, the only way you're going to truly free yourself from the synthetic universe is to have the love and the gratitude for the being and the role that it's played, the challenges it's provided for you, and the service that it's provided for you.
It is a tough concept for people to grasp, though, especially autonomous living. I mean, even just here on the physical sense, people can't even grasp the concept of living without government and governing themselves, much less governing themselves on a universal scale. So where do we begin with these people?
Well, where we begin is by changing ourselves. All we got to do is start changing ourselves. That's how simple it is. And it does. It begins with the man in the mirror and the woman in the mirror. It begins with the person in the mirror. And once we start being that energy, it's like a ripple effect. And the more we change our reality around us. So therefore, the world changes. And as long as everybody could start taking responsibility for their own nature, their own expression, their own state of beingness, and start realizing that, hey, I made an agreement to traverse this, to, take this journey through the synthetic universe. That's why I'm here on this planet now. Right, so now I have a responsibility towards not only humanity, but to myself, most of all, to myself, that I need to address the synthetic dark charge and the synthetic light charge, which I have integrated, which I have immersed myself into. I need to take responsibility for my actions, my behavior, my beliefs, and my expressions and my emanations. Let's start looking at it. What is it about me that is immersed still in the characteristics of the synthetic dark energies? What is it about me that is still immersed in the characteristics of the synthetic light energies? And you'd be surprised how subtle they can be. Like I told you about very obvious ones. But my goodness, when you start looking at the high-end spiritual concepts of the synthetic light energy, the self-righteousness and the arrogance in its most subtle and sophisticated forms is absolutely astonishing. It is pure genius, the way this energy works. And we see it around us a lot. You see it around you a lot. I know you do. And once we can start identifying that energy even within ourselves, as subtle as it may be, we've got to continue to look at ourselves. You know, we do work on ourselves and we go, right, we got it. You know, I'm there.
Right.
And you kind of get happy and complacent with yourself for a while, and you get and you start enamoring yourself with your ego again because I'm there. Come on, I've made it. You know, I'm good. And we start thinking this way about ourselves. And then we've got to start realizing, like, hang on, if we're continuing to think like that, something's not right here. We're starting to enamor ourselves with that self-righteous ego, and we need to take another good look at ourselves. And I've done that, and I'm still doing it. And in the last few days with the full moon and the eclipse, did I get knocked for a six? It was huge.
Oh, man.
I'm right there with you, George. I mean, I don't know what happened in 2013, but something just changed. And it was a very weird change. It was the opposite of what I expected to happen. I expected a more spiritual awakening, a more in contact with the spirit, but the complete opposite. Now I'm much more focused on this matrix, on this five-sense reality. How can we change what's going on right now?
Yeah, it is changing. It is absolutely changing at an incredible rate. It is, it's like we've got the turbo thrusters on. And look, I'll give you another example of this, because I'm always looking at it from the real, the big picture. And we got this war that's about to happen with Syria. Okay.
Right.
So why Syria? Well, let's look at the map. Okay. Because this is a battle between the three Abrahamic religions. Okay. Because if there's a lot of people who are caught up in religious ideology and they look at the Bible and they invest themselves into a book. Oh, where do I begin with this? I'm going to go back to the beginning of my understanding of it so people really get where I'm coming from. Okay. Now, we have a book that's been handed to us by the priestly caste. We have a deity that's been handed to us by the priestly caste. The same deity, okay, now I'm going to go into my own personal perspective and understanding. I still truly feel to me that there was a Christ, not only in the masculine, but the feminine, that walked the earth around 2,000 years ago. That's what I truly feel within my beingness. You can call it a belief system, George's belief system, if you want. For me, I just feel it in my heart. Now, that being is not the one that's being presented to the people. And I'll tell you why, because it was the priestly caste that crucified the Christ 2,000 years ago. So now we have the same group that crucified the Christ and now presenting to the masses their version of the Christ.
Right.
And people are investing. I don't know why people don't see that. So people are investing themselves into a religious deity, the deity of the priestly caste, the same group that crucified the Christ, to begin with.
Right.
So who is this character that everyone's believing in? Remember this one line in the Bible, even the elite will be deceived. Don't forget that statement. Really look at that statement for what it's worth and take it further than just thinking the fall of the Roman Empire and the Vatican. Take it further than that. really understand how far that statement goes. Because if you have the same group that crucified the Christ now presenting to you a deity to worship and their version of events, and they give you biblical prophecy, whereas if they're overlords, like the God of the priestly caste, if it's the one pulling the strings behind the scenes, then it's the one that has the power at the moment on the planet to make things happen the way it wants them to be. Therefore, prophecy, biblical prophecy, is being used as a movie script. And the events that are playing out before us on the planet are being created and manifested by this entity, so it validates its scriptures.
Right. I do see that. I've always thought that Revelations is being played out like a playbook. And I think a lot of the Syria conflict has to do with Iran as well. If you, like you said, look at the map, and what they're doing is surrounding Iran. Totally surrounding Iran. You look at Pakistan, that's gone. That's fallen to the crusading empire. You look at Afghanistan, gone. You look at Oman, United Arab Emirates. We know Saudi Arabia with them. We know Yemen are with them. We know Somalia, because they've got to protect the sea waters when the ships go in for the big war. That's coming. Sudan, all these places. Iraq's taken out. We know Jordan's been brought into discipline and alignment, and now it's Syria. So the whole thing is about getting to the heart of Persia. So it's the old-fashioned battle of the three Abrahamic religions, and this fulfills prophecy. And the more these events play out in our world, the more it substantiates the belief of the masses. It substantiates a religion. It validates their belief. It entrenches them even further. It embeds them, even concretes them into their belief system. It enamors it further every time a biblical prophecy is fulfilled. So what I'm saying to people is remove yourself from that drama and look at it as a movie script. And then when you can do that, you actually see that somebody behind the scenes, behind the curtain, is pulling the strings to make it happen, because all three religions want to usher in their Messiah, their 12th Imam, and their return of the Christ. It's the same entity that's going to serve all three religions. Now, when all three religions fall under the same umbrella, you will have a unification of peace, a flow of energy that will be so powerful, it'll come together in a way that it's going to want to then take over the world. It's that coming together, that flow of energy, which will give it this power and the strength to start wanting to promote on the planet a one world religion. That's very interesting. That's very well put. I never thought about it like that.
This is the way the energies are flowing. These are think of it as rivers of energy flowing to a particular direction. They're steering and they're guiding the flow of energy. These beings work with energy. So if you look at the way things are in the intent is flowing, you will see that this is the energy of bringing together and creating such a powerful charge that it's going to ride that wave of energy of unification and peace and harmony to create a one world religious organization and a one world government.
Wow. That definitely makes a lot of sense. So how do we stop this? I mean, I guess that's the big question. How do we stop this? We can realize who we are, where we came from, and I think we've already done that. And I think that explains a lot of the shifting that people are feeling now in 2013, where rather than being thrown into the spirit world, we're thrown even further into the physical world, because now that we've gone through the love and light and we've gone through understanding who we are, now we have to come back with the axe. Now we have to come back with the sword. Now we have to come back as warriors to really stop what is happening in the world.
Exactly. Now you got to put your money where your mouth is.
Right.
And now you've got to start being, being sovereign, being autonomous, and you've got to live by your principles. So you've got to make a stand. And you've got to know when to make a stand and how to make a stand. And there's a lot of people that are in all these different positions all around the world, in the militaries, in the governments, in the medical professions, and you name it. They're just like us. And they're just waiting for the time when they know to act. No one's going to tell anyone what to do. I'm not going to tell you what to do. Nobody needs to tell anyone what to do. Because when we go back into that place within ourselves, into our sovereign heart, in our beautiful heart soul essence that's deep within us, beyond any of the religious or spiritual dogmas or programs, and I mean cosmic spiritual programs from extraterrestrial races and interdimensional beings, those ones as well, okay? Not just the earthly ones. We've got to take that into consideration. We've got to take the cosmic matrix into consideration, the synthetic universal matrix into consideration. Once we get past that, then you're in your true heart soul essence, and the simplicity of that, and your connection to your mother planet and your father sun and your mother galaxy and the universal creator and the humanity as a whole. Once we go back into that place, we understand exactly what it is we need to do for ourselves. No one tells anyone what to do. It's just a total knowing, because you are then flowing with the natural unfoldment. You're back into the organic, natural consciousness of life, and we know what needs doing. And we absolutely know that we have the wisdom and the power and the consciousness and the knowledge and the techniques to do everything that we need to do to allow this synthetic dark and the synthetic white love and light energy to play itself out. Humanity needs to work through this. So it's kind of like we are riding the crest of the wave, and we are working through these energies, first before the majority do. And because we are the way showers, in a sense, we are there in a position to help guide and steer the others, just to be there to facilitate that and hold the space. And when someone comes and asks for, some advice or whatever, we're going to be there for our friends, for our families, and we can share our understandings and our opinions. And that is what's going to really help transform the world. And there'll be some people that will just have to go in and act like in a really big way. And they will know who they are. They will know innately deep down inside of themselves, I have to go and I have to do this. Right. They'll just know.
Here's a big question though, George. Does any of this even matter? Does anything that happens here on the 5 sense reality plane, on the third dimension, does it even matter? Or is this just a script that people are following, and we just, as you said, this is like a movie, and all these things are going to happen regardless of what we do, so all we can do is just sit back and be observers? Or can we actually make a difference?
Okay, there was a few questions there. Yes, we can make a difference. Yes, we are making a difference. And does it matter? Everything matters and nothing matters. So the reason why everything matters is because every little experience you have is food for your soul, is wisdom gained. So by us working through the synthetic dark and the synthetic light energy, what's coming now is the greatest show in the universe here, and it's happening here on Earth. I personally, and I know there's other people who have had this experience, right now the amount of beings that are taking up position around the Earth on an energetic level to get front row position to see what actually is happening here on Earth is unthinkable. The amount of attention that the universe is giving Earth right now. Unbelievable, because right here on Earth is the battleground for the synthetic universe with the organic universe. It's unbelievable, and we are right in the middle of it. We are the front warriors who are right in the middle of it. And as we work through this energy, we are not only teaching ourselves, but we are teaching the universe how to deal with this energy.
That sounds like the Christians being thrown into the lion's den and the Romans watching them getting torn apart, though, in a way, because it's kind of macabre when you really think about it, because look at the amount of suffering that's going on this planet right now. And the universe is focused on us for what reason? Just to watch us suffer?
No, it's not about watching us suffer, and everybody's here because they chose to come here. Nobody's been put here. It's not about victimhood. It's total opposite to that. This is about responsibility. This is about everybody who's here on the planet and playing this role are actually the way showers in the universe. You know, we've been brainwashed into giving our power away to angels and ascended masters. We are the ascended masters. We are the wise elders who are managing this whole reality. It's us. And until you can understand that about yourself, we are the ones who are doing this. We're running the show. We created this reality. We're all co-creating this reality together. We're all responsible for it. It's not about victimhood, Sheree.
I do agree with that we've all made contracts to come here and experience whatever it is that we need to experience. I don't think, in my personal journey, I don't think that I understood the contract fully, and I want my money back.
Me too. I want to go home. I want to retire.
Crikey, haven't we all said that, eh? Crikey. Yeah, I wanted out of here for so long, and now that I've come to this understanding, I'm so honoured to be here, and I'm really, really happy about being here, because we really have a big chance to make a difference. And I'm learning more than I've ever learned in any other reality anywhere else in the universe. This is just so amazing to be here at this time. You know, that is true. Lining up at the door to try and get in here to have this kind of experience.
That is true, and we do need to be thankful for what we have. I was once sad because I had no shoes until I met a man that had no feet.
There you go.
Yeah.
You know, it's we can easily get caught up in the drama. We can, and the pain of it all. And it's really important to rise above it and see it for what it is. It's like two people having an argument that you're going to get sucked right in and feel all their pain and their hurt and all that sort of stuff. You know, we've got to be bigger than that. So all this pain and suffering in the world, don't forget on one level that everybody who's suffering wanted that suffering on one level. Now, the only place you're going to understand that is in your heart. If you're in the head space, you're not going to get it because the logical mind can't handle that sort of reasoning. But when somebody wants to have an experience from beyond the veil and they incarnate to have an experience, that's their choice. So it's like we are in, I have no right to take away someone's experience from them.
Right.
Because that's their learning. I have no right to do that. And there's times in life when you know you're not to get involved in something. You just know. Because whoever's having that experience, like, and again, I'll use two friends having an argument or a fight. Sometimes you know you've just got to walk away and just let them have it out because they need to. And there's times when you know you do have to get involved. And it's like that on a global level. There's times where you know you've got to get involved and you're doing it. You've created a radio program, a platform for people to have a voice. You needed to get involved. You're not just doing a mundane job somewhere at the moment, are you? Look at you running Truth Frequency Radio, creating it. So you're already getting involved. You're already living